Hello, sport fans. Mauricio here. Well, let's filter the data returned from the database. Now, when I start up this program, it's showing all of the products. There's lots of products here. But what if you wanted to filter? Just show me the category 1 products, clothing, or category 2 or category 3. You could see that the list changes and you can go back to all. So let me show you how that works. I want to start by saying, where's the button? So there's no button to click. You could have a button to click, but we're going to put the code on a event. The radio button list was clicked on. So let's take a look at the code. So here's the radio button list. So RBL filter, and it handles. So the name of the sub procedure doesn't really matter, but the handles tells, so this could say RBL chicken tastes good, but the handles has to be related. That's the event. So this ASP.NET is event driven. Something happened, or a timer happened, I guess. But something happened. Someone clicked on a button. And so here's how you place code on the event that the index selected changed. So they made a selection to the index file. So what does that mean? Well, the index, when you turn the program on, the selected index is -1, which is similar to when you want to clear out the radio button list. And all of this is exactly the same for a drop-down list or a checkbox list. But when you turn on the web page, the selected index is -1, nothing selected. If you wanted to clear out the prior selection, you would say radio button list dot selected index equals -1, nothing selected. So when the index changes from -1, for example, to clothing, that's an event. Or when you make a selection in the list, well, first something was selected, but the index number was changed from -1 to something. And again, I like radio button lists. They start 0, 1, 2, 3. Not like a drop-down list that has the first item usually says like a select something, so that's more complex, tiny bit. Anyway, here's the most important part. Dun, 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 dun. Enable postback. This code does not work if you forget this enable postback. It's very easy to forget, so please write it down in your notes. Hey, my code doesn't work. Did you enable postback? Oh, that's what it is. So anyway, we're putting code on the event that the program user selected something on the list. So this procedure runs when the radio button list, something was selected. So let's now talk about it. This is I guess we can't see it, but this is a table on the screen. It's not really for editing anything. It's just there for display. So we made it a local table. So I made a local data table. So code that I might want to, or data that I might want to change, I put as global, public shared, for many reasons. But data that I just want to display, or data that's only going to be inside this view and not used for anything else, it's nice to have a local data table. So by the way, use local variables and objects such as a data table when you can. If you must, make it global, but only make it global if you need to. Lots of commentary there, but just suffice to say, keep it local with a dim if you can, but if you need to, for example, share this data on different views or in different procedures, if you need the object to be viewable and changeable within different procedures, then it has to be global. But in this case, we're just showing a filtered list. So so we're going to have, so it's the same thing. We're going to use this data adapter to fill this data table, which is an array, and then that data table, and the data table is local. So this array is local. And so go fill this local table and then display that local table in a grid view. Grid views they just display tables of data. That's their job. But since we don't know if this SQL statement is going to have a parameter or not. What do you mean, Featherman? Well, does it have a where statement or not? So we're going to do a case statement, and if it's, and we're going to see which one was selected, and I'll get to line 87 in a second, but we're going to see which one of these options was selected in the radio button list. So case 0, 1, 2, that means we want to filter it by clothing, health and beauty aids, and appliances. So we would only add a parameter. So there's an input parameter. We're only going to add an input parameter if or when the first three options are selected. If no filtering is wanted, just show me all the data. Well, then we don't have a where statement, and then we don't have a parameter. So a parameter is a filter. In this case, it's a filter. We'll use input parameters to get values, and then do our insert statement, and we've done that already. But in this case, we're going to have a parameter called category ID, and that's going to be in our where statement. And we only need a where statement, and we only need the filter when it's item 0, 1, or 2. And again, items 0, 1, or 2 are clothing, HABA, and appliances. So this code's pretty tricky. In fact, I don't know that I've done it in SQL, but why is it tricky, Featherman? Well, 3 of the 4 conditions must have input parameter. So I'm going to feed the category ID from the selected value. So, and again, that's good to remember. The item shows clothing, but that value is category 1. Health and beauty aids shows HABA, but that's category 2. And appliances, it shows the word here, but it's category 3. And all, there isn't any category, so we just say all there. But we're going to use the where statement and a parameterized select statement. We're only going to use that if we're filtering the data. If we're not filtering the data, then just select star from, get it all. But if they selected one of the first 3 items, then we're going to add parameters to the select command of the data adapter. So data adapters we're going to use in this class only to run select statements. I'm just thinking if that's a lie. We might, yeah, we're only to run select statements. And so the select statement built into the data adapter has a parameters collection. And so we're going to add, so clear out the old parameters and their values, and then add a new parameter, and go get your value from whatever's selected in the radio button list. So we probably need something here that says, well, I was going to say if RBL if nothing was selected in the radio button list, but this procedure wouldn't get fired, it wouldn't execute if nothing was selected. This procedure only runs when one of the options was selected. So this code is tricky in that it adds the input parameter called @category ID. It only does that for 3 of the 4 options. So I'm curious now how to write this in SQL. I guess it's probably not that hard. But one more time, this procedure runs when somebody selected something in the radio button list. Then we have a table. We'll clear out our table. We're going to use a string text statement, and then we're going to create a data adapter. So go get me my data, filter it by category. So this is the ASP.NET way of getting data. This is not running a stored procedure. So now, but this is quicker. It's a shortcut. Could we run a stored procedure? Yeah, sure, but sometimes that's more work. But so something simple like filtering a list, I don't know if I'd ever write a stored procedure for it, although I don't know. But something like add, insert, update, yeah, I'm definitely writing a stored procedure for that. All right, so here's our data adapter, and then it's going to run this string statement, which has the SQL in it. And so we set the string statement. The string, it's just like n varchar, so it's just the text statement. So, but that's a SQL statement. So you would want to run that in your SSMS to make sure it works before you just stick it in ASP.NET, because there's no error checking here really. However, of course, we do need to put the debug equals true at the top. How do you know that it's not here? Debug equals, yeah. That's why I always say put some space. Yeah, this thing's touchy. Put some space in here. There we go. Now debug equals true. Double click. And save. So you definitely want that. That way it gives you nice specific error messages. All right, so 3 out of the 4 times we're adding a parameter, add with value. We got our parameters and then add with value. And then otherwise we're just going to get all the data. So after setting that, we need to tell it, hey, your command text is not a stored procedure. Your command text is that string statement. So, and the string statement was created inside our select case statement. So it doesn't really know what SQL to run until after this select case. But after it knows, all right, data adapter.select command. All right, your command text. That's like, what SQL text should I run? What's the command text? This red stuff. So I'll run this this red SQL statement, and then we do everything in a try-catch block so that we can get to see our errors. It is a huge mistake not to use this response.write, but go ahead and data adapter, fill the data table, and fill it in a grid view, and you've already seen it work. But why not show it one more time? Clothing, health and beauty, appliances, and all. So that's